China is supposedly modernizing and becoming a global superpower, but in other ways it still remains seriously medieval. Health officials there have just confirmed the fourth incident this month of plague, as in the plague that killed half of Europe in the Middle Ages. How does the plague spread, and is it heading here? Dr. Mark Siegel is a Fox medical contributor, and he joins us now. We're laughing about it, but the three big pandemics of the plague since the 14th century have all come from this part of the world.
And the reason for that, and we're not really laughing about this part, the Chinese government, even though they've created a Centers for Disease Control that's patterned after our own, where they literally track cases and they know who's sick, they don't know how to inform the world about this. They suppress it on social media. They delete their tweets where they say, hey, someone has the plague. They don't tell the World Health Organization for weeks. As you were mentioning, this led to an outbreak of a virus called SARS in 2003 that spread to over 30 countries. I'm worried about that happening with a plague. Now, they have checkpoints on the roads. Can you imagine you're driving along the road and they're stopping you to see if you have a plague, or you go to an airport and they're checking your temperature? It's spreading panic in China right now.
But isn't this something to do with their so-called one country, two systems things? Because as with SARS, and presumably it could happen with the plague, some guy in upcountry rural China eats the wrong marmot, and then his aunt goes to visit her cousin in Hong Kong, and one of them happens to be standing in the elevator at the Intercontinental, and the businessman who's staying there gets on a flight to Cape Town or New York or Paris, and that's how it spreads.
Exactly right, Mark. You could be working for the CDC. Let me tell you, it's a bacteria. And it lives in rodents, and rodents around the world still carry this bacteria, but unfortunately in parts of China they're eating it raw. Also, fleas on the surface of these varmints then spread it to humans. So fleas hopping from rats to humans. That's why it was so deadly in Europe, because they had a problem with all of the rats. Now, the Chinese government right now is trying to kill all the rodents and the fleas, and they're trying to control it that way, which is probably a good idea. But the fear worries me, because you know what happens when you get the plague if it isn't treated fast enough with antibiotics? It develops a lung form. Then pneumonic plague can spread by literally coughing it onto somebody. So
and has a much higher death rate.
Right, over 50%. And two of the people that have had it this month have had this version. If they got on a plane, God forbid, came to New York, you could see a case here.
Well, before anyone invented air travel, in the 19th century, the last big pandemic started killing members of the Chinese community in San Francisco. And Chester Arthur signed the Chinese Exclusion Act, which everyone thinks he did now just because he was a big, horrible, white racist. But in fact, it was a health issue. And you get the feeling that would not be politically feasible at all today. So do we just have to trust to chance that nobody gets on that plane?
No, we need to be fighting this point, just as we're doing on the show here. It's not about, you know, one society versus another or the color of your skin. It's about the risk to public health. And when you see a disease reemerging, even 4 cases in a month is more than they ever have there. And we're going to see a lot more cases. We need to get the information out there. It needs to be at airports, and people need to be on the lookout. Fear spreads more disease than any virus and any bacteria.
Well, that's a cheerful note to end on for this Thanksgiving
We're safe
weekend.
We're safe for now.
Don't catch the plague before Monday.
All right, shalom, all praise and honor, glory goes to Yahweh Shemashah, Bashim Kakarash. Double honors to my apostles and elders, the great millstone, peace and blessings to you, fellow Akim. The video that you just saw in the post-production is a video that I was watching from about a week ago. I just watched it, and going into how China has this 4th case of the plague. You know, the plague, and as you hear one of the anchors speak about, the correspondent speak about the plague that wiped out half of the population of Europe in the Middle Ages, was our people. You know, that plague actually knocked out 2/3 of our people. That's how Esau was able to come up in there and to take us over. You know, the Lord, he sent plagues. Now this time around, the Lord, he's going to plague the whole world. Okay, America's going to get it the worst, but you're going to have outbreaks everywhere. You know, you're going to have an actual pandemic, pan meaning all. Okay, and they're saying that the reports really are that it's really more than that. They don't want to scare the people. So while everything in the world, which it will seem like it's going on, everything's fine and dandy, you got different sporting events, people are traveling in different countries, nothing's really happening, you have plagues of starting up. And they're going to come to a neighborhood near you. A lot of people are going to die of the pestilence, and that's written about in the scripture. Let me bring out a scripture. I'm not going to make this long, but basically we're entering into, and really certain parts of the world are already in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, like Venezuela, okay, down there in Central America, over there in the Middle East. They're already experiencing a martial law state. They're already experiencing mass death. But this is not being played on mainstream media, okay? And with these different, laws that Esau wants to put in place, he's trying to block out the internet. Just as China did in the video, they talk about how China takes down posts from social media. They put a blockade, okay? Just as Iran is having all type of so-called protests going on. But what happened? They actually turned the internet off. So none of that information can go around the world. So really, the world is in chaos right now. It's just that you don't know it because the powers to be there, they don't want you to freak out and bug out. But it's going to get so hot that they're not going to be able to do that because it's going to be in a city near you. And one of these things that are coming for America and in different parts of the world are plagues, pestilent diseases that you're not going to be able to cure. Okay, this is 2nd Ezra 15, and I'm gonna jump around in 2nd Ezra 15 and 2nd Ezra 16. 2nd Ezra 15 and 5. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And that's exactly what's happening. Okay, the Lord, he's bringing these plagues in a form of diseases. Now, San Francisco, where we hold camp, is riddled with diseases. All these tech companies, they actually have rat problems. These houses that Esau lives in, they actually have rat problems. They look nice and all that, but there's rats everywhere. And those rats carry diseases as well as the fleas that are on the rats. So the rats carry the diseases, and the fleas, they'll jump on the rat, suck the blood of the rat because they're a parasite, and then they'll jump on you. They'll jump on your animals, and they'll jump on you. And this is how you're getting these outbreaks. There was an outbreak was it typhus in LA? I believe it was typhus, and it came from fleas from the rats. Okay, in City Hall, these homeless encampments around, especially here in California, they are riddled with medieval diseases. So a lot of these things are happening right before our eyes. This is biblical prophecy, letting you know that we're in the last days. Now, I went on that video, and I looked at a comment, and the comment said, like, it was a second or third comment. Somebody said that this is the Most High. He said the Most High is plaguing this place. So that spirit of Israel is going out. People know. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. See, the whole earth out there in China, they're doing nothing but wickedness. Well, they structuring their society as America is. Okay, they're putting hell upon their people, treating them like slaves so they can sell these cheap goods. They're eating all type of abominable foods. They're into AI. China's going to take that chip. They're going to basically agree with the beast for a moment. They're in lead with Esau. They got homosexuals now. They got women in the workplace. Everything that the Yahweh Shema Shai said was wrong. All these nations are doing it because they're following after Esau, who is the ruler of this world right now. Okay? Well, it says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So all these different nations are following after Esau. So it says, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled, said the Lord. It says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. See, the Lord, He's not holding his tongue no more. He's going to plague you. He's going to destroy you. And that's what he's doing. He's going to destroy you nations. Right before Yahushua comes back and redeems his elect and destroys this place, okay, he's going to totally break this place down. You're going to know that it's the Lord that's doing it, man. You're going to know. All these nations are going to know about the power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, and right now he's hitting you with these birth pains, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Okay, behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Who is that? It's talking about the elect that passed, and the elect that are still here on the earth. Okay, the righteous man is sighing and crying because look what's going on. All right, and best believe you, we're counted out of this society. We're not in the talks when these nations talk with each other about where they want to head, where the future lies. Okay, they're talking about how they can destroy us. Okay, Psalms 83. China was part of that tumult that they had against the Most High and His people to destroy us. So that same energy that they put, upon that same energy that they pushed out upon us, by taking advantage of us. Well, how did China get rich? Because of the goods. Who did they sell those goods to? How did they get rich? Off of Jake. Everybody got rich off of Jake, off you Israelites. Okay, some form or fashion. These nations had a hand in taking you down. Okay, and keeping you, not only taking you down, but keeping you down. Because all these nations know what happened to us. That history wasn't lost. They're in league with each other. Well, you had a Star Wars movie where you had a Jake that was one of the main characters. Out there in China, I believe they shrunk them down, or they just utterly took them off. All right, so you damn Moabites, you Chinese, you Moabites, you're going to get it too, and you are getting it. So you're going to be riddled with all type of diseases, and you're a filthy people, by the way, too. Okay, you're destroying the earth just for money. Okay, China had an industrial revolution, all these different factories. Okay, and you literally are polluting the earth. Okay, so Lord, He's not going to hold back His hand anymore. He's putting His hand upon you now. Verse 9, and therefore said the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Yet the Lord is going to revenge us. Okay? Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them to dwell in the land of Egypt. That's America. Okay? This is where the bulk of the Israelites are, and where the bulk of the Israelites caught the most hell is here in America. Okay, both tribes. Or I should say both kingdoms. Alright, the northern and the southern kingdom are here in Babylon. So the Lord, He's not going to suffer us, just like during the time of ancient Egypt. He didn't suffer us to stay in the land of Egypt. He heard our cries and our moaning and our groaning. And what did He do? He raised up a prophet. He raised up Moses and Aaron. He raised up Moses. So the Lord, what did He do? He raised up prophets now. All right, and now that the prophet is speaking, what's happening? This place is going down. You other nations are going down. But you other nations are proud. The Lord's going to have to show you. Okay, He's going to have to show you that He has the power and you don't. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. That mighty hand and stretched out arm, that's Yahushua coming back. Okay, to redeem us. And that's going to be a mighty hand to take down this devil and these other nations. And smite Egypt with plagues. See? As before, and I will destroy all the land thereof. Now I was speaking about China, but that's a prelude to what's going to happen in the States. Because the whole world is going to be punished. Okay, it tells you that in what is that? Isaiah the 13th chapter, I believe the 11th verse. I will punish the world for their iniquity. Okay, so Egypt, America, you're going to be plagued with these old ancient plagues, the bubonic plague. These different diseases that were once eradicated. They're still here. Esau got them in got him in the CDC, the World Health Organization. He studies them. He can release them, because he has this agenda of population control. It says Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. Let me go down. Yeah, that's it on that. Let me go to we can read more, but I want to skip to 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. Give me a second. Yeah, because they're gonna quarantine you. Well, they said in China they have checkpoints to check if you in these rural areas, to check if you have the plague. Okay, that's not a place you want to live in. But that's what's going to happen. They're going to shut down cities here in Babylon. All right, they're not going to allow. If you would have kept reading 2nd Ezra 15, it talks about sedition among men, and part of that sedition is because there's going to be a lot of diseases and people are going to be dying, and the government is not going to be able to do anything about it. What are they going to do? They're going to lock you up. They're going to quarantine you. They're going to cut you off from going into a city because they're going to say that you're a health risk. Okay, so let me go. Let me jump around here. Give me a second. 2nd Ezra 16 and 5. It reads, "Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away?" Yeah, plagues are sent unto who? This world, Babylon. Okay, because America's you're gonna get it the worst. You already have hell in these other countries, so the hell that's coming to America is gonna be unprecedented. It's gonna be like a time never before, because you're gonna have lots of diseases out here. All right, and you're not gonna have enough people in the medical field to actually cure you of these things, which Esau is not going to try to cure you anyway. All right, there's going to be a lack of antibiotics. The goal is, or the cure is so-called antibiotics. But those antibiotics, they morph and they mutate. And then if you don't have the money, you're not going to be able to get them. It says, "A sword is sent unto you, and who may turn it back?" Oh, I'm sorry, I went up, but that's still good. Let me read that. That's verse 3. "A sword is sent unto you, and who may turn it back?" Yeah, these things are coming, and you're not going to be able to stop these things. Okay, who's going to stop the sword of the Lord from coming and destroying you people? Give me a second. Let me park real quick. Yeah, who's going to stop the sword of the Lord from coming? These plagues coming, mass death coming. You're not going to be able to stop it. "A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away?" Let me just, I want to skip around. Verse 8, "The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away?" You're not going to be able to drive these plagues away. Okay, you're going to have to bear the brunt. The only way to escape these things is that you have to be, on the good side of Yahweh Shema Shai. You have to be in a secret place, because if you're not in a secret place, or you're not in a shadow, you're gonna actually these things are gonna befall you. You can possibly catch diseases. Okay. Let me this is verse 19. "Behold, famine and plague." No, let me go up. Verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?" Because the prophet Ezra, he saw the vision of this place being just totally eradicated with diseases and destruction and famine. Right now it doesn't seem like that can happen. What happens when the internet gets cut off? What happens when the electricity gets cut off? The power grid goes down. Just for a couple of days, it's going to be all out hell. It's going to be all out anarchy, riots, you know? So the prophet Ezra's like, who's going to deliver me? Damn, it's going to be crazy. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mourning. So we're coming into the beginning of sorrows and great mourning. The people of the world, they're going to mourn. The beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? We're in the beginning of all those things. Not only are you going to see plagues and diseases, places being cut off, there's going to be war. So you're going to have a lot of these United States troops. They're going to be out there in the Middle East. Okay, you're going to see a lot of death. Okay, in that comment, the person wrote, 1,000 shall fall at thy right hand, on 10,000 on thy side. I believe that's in the book of Job. I believe that's actually going to happen. So people are waking up. There's only a small amount of time for you Israelites to come to the Lord, because outside of that, the Lord is like, all right, go ahead, release all them judgments. Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourge. Yeah, they're not going to turn. These people are not going to turn away from their wickedness, serving other gods, serving idols, eating abominable foods, committing adultery, lying, stealing, cheating. They're not going to stop that. The script. What does the scripture say? Evil men understand not judgment. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, and that's exactly what's happening. You can get cheap food. Well, the eat unhealthy is cheaper than to eat healthy. To eat healthy, you got to have a lot of money. But to eat these processed chemicalized foods, okay, that's very cheap. You get 3-4 double cheeseburgers for $1. There's always a deal. 20 chicken nuggets for $1. Okay, 20 top ramen soups for $2. You go to soup kitchens. There's always a deal to try to bring you in and spend that money when it's not even really good food. So you think you're in a good case. That they shall think themselves to be in a good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth. So here it is. Evils are actually growing upon the earth right now as we speak. Every day is worse off than the next. Last year, or I should say this year, was worse than last year. When it comes to storms and earthquakes, every time you see there's a new storm, or the seasons come around where tornadoes or hurricanes or earthquakes or wildfires, it was worse than the previous year. The biggest snowstorm, the biggest landfall, the biggest earthquake, since 200 years. So it's always some type of unprecedented event happening that's destroying a lot of people. But see, the world, they don't see that. They don't see these evils growing. Sometimes they'll talk about it. You got a lot of people killing each other, man, especially out here in the Bay Area. A lot of shootings, a lot of stabbings, a lot of robbings. You have mass shootings almost every goddamn day here in Babylon. Somebody's dying over some type of event. So wickedness is increasing, evil is increasing, but the people, they're totally asleep. They don't even understand what's going on. It says, even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Everybody's confused, man. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. Nobody knows how to solve the issue, solve the problem. Let me see. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. And where's our comfort? Our comfort is going to be the scriptures. We're going to have a man. We're going to have powers to comfort us. Yahweh Shai. They're going to comfort us. In those days, they're comforting us now through this word, through the Comforter. They're getting our minds right and ready for these days, for these evil days, and we see it. So when all hell breaks loose, we're not going to be in a confused state. You people are going to be in a confused state. Even though the Lord, he has his men on the highways and hedges every week, even though the Lord has his men speaking the truth every day on the YouTube, online, the people are still not going to get it because they weren't meant to get it. Maybe there's a little more in this chapter. Yep, I'm going to jump down. 37, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. And we're seeing that. The plagues are actually here. We have cases of plagues. This year alone, there was cases of quarantines on cruise ships and different parts of the world. There was cases of quarantine. Now you're like, oh, ain't nobody dying. There's not a lot of people dying. Well, it's a buildup. Okay, it's a buildup. It's actually happening. More and more of these things are building up, and a lot of times the government doesn't want you to know these things. Oh, it's a conspiracy. Oh, you guys are conspiracy theorists. All right, well, the scriptures say, for what if some did not believe? Okay, all we're here is just to deliver the message. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son. So when a woman gets pregnant, the moment she gets pregnant, okay, she has intercourse with a man, boom, the seed hits the egg. Is the baby born that moment? No, it takes what? It takes time. But then once you get into that 9th month, what starts happening? Okay, those pain, it's going to go into those pains. So right now, this place is in the 9th month. Okay, the world is in the 9th month right now. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth pains, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. So these things are going to they're going to increase more. The closer that we get to the baby being born, right? The closer the woman gets to the baby getting born, she starts having contractions, and those contractions start speeding up. So the Lord is speeding up the time of the contractions, which are these evils that are going to befall this place. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Okay? Oh, my people, hear my word. So now the Lord is talking to us. He's letting us know all these things that are going to befall the planet Earth. And then he said, oh, my people. Who are his people? Just everybody? No. The Israelites. And in particular, the elect. Because 2/3 they're not going to believe on this. Make you ready to thy battle. So we're making ourselves ready to the battle. What the scriptures tell us, that 2 Timothy's, Peter's, arm thy mind likewise with the same mind as Yahushai. Okay, we're getting that same mind as Yahushai, so we can be hard when these things come. We can be hard to the world. It says, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise as he that has no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein, and he that soweth as if he should not reap. So also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. And therefore they that labor in vain. Okay, basically we're supposed to be as pilgrims and not care about the things that we have, because look, we're that much closer to our salvation. Because Esau's going to be pushing an RFID microchip. It's going to be war in the Middle East. It's going to be civil war. It's going to be pestilence, meaning diseases. Okay, outbreaks. It's going to be martial law. People's heads going to be getting chopped off. So a lot of crazy things are going to befall this place before this place is ultimately destroyed. So the Lord is preparing our minds. So I pray that this video was edifying. Until next time.